Okay, we just wanted to dip into that for a moment because it was pertinent to the topic that we're starting here with today and the questions about an open and clear condemnation of rape as a weapon of war. Let's listen to what was said at the UN today by three very prominent Democrats speaking out against many in their own party who seem to refuse to see it the way they do. Watch this.
It is outrageous that some who claim to stand for justice are closing their eyes and their hearts to the victims of Hamas.
The world has to decide who to believe. Do we believe the Hamas spokesperson who said that rape is forbidden, therefore it couldn't have possibly happened on October 7th? Or do we believe the women whose bodies tell us how they spent the last minutes of their lives?
When I saw the list of women's rights organizations who have said nothing, I nearly choked. Where is the solidarity for women in this country and in this world to stand up for our mothers, our sisters, and our daughters?
Stunning moment from the UN just a short time ago. Let's bring in Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor, and Mark Penn, former Clinton advisor and pollster and now CEO of Stagwell. Mark, let me start with you. Very moving moments from these three women who are asking what is going on. Where is the support from these women's groups? And Hillary Clinton came out very early on and said, no ceasefire. She said a ceasefire will only empower Hamas. It seems like we've got a very big divergence here, Mark, in what's happening in the thought process on this from the Democrat Party.
Look, I think Sheryl Sandberg wrote a great op-ed about a week ago in which she highlighted that women's groups had been supposedly progressive but completely silent on the rape and other events here and the sexual violence that was committed by Hamas. And Hillary Clinton, you know, I worked with her for many years. She had personal experience with the Arab-Israeli negotiations, you know, that were in 2000. And she has been quite strong and unequivocal that Hamas is a terrorist organization that should be dealt with in that respect. And these women, one former New York senator, a current New York senator, a prominent businesswoman like Sheryl, they all stand united in this.
So, Karl, I wonder what you thought of Karine Jean-Pierre's answer on this. She basically said, you know, of course it's reprehensible, and of course the president thinks it's terrible, and that, you know, rape is a terrible thing.
Yeah, full stop twice. No, I thought the three statements by the former First Lady and former Secretary of State, current senator, and as Mark points out, a very prominent business person, were powerful. And to read these reports, I was struck by one where an eyewitness saw one of the victims repeatedly raped. She screamed in anger, "Go ahead and kill me! I'm not gonna live anyway." And when the last Hamas terrorist had his way with her, he put a bullet in her head. This is evil, and it shows exactly what we face in this world. And God bless the three of our leaders in business and politics to speak out the way that they did. And I wish the White House spokeswoman could muster up a tenth of the emotion and force that they did.
And when he comes on the heels of a tepid comment by Pramila Jayapal, the congresswoman from Michigan, let's watch what she had to say this weekend. All right. We played that a bit earlier, and I think you've seen it throughout the day. But I do want to look at the politics of this, Mark, because look at this. All right, let's play Pramila Jayapal, and then let's play this montage of Muslim speakers at Saturday's abandoned Biden event in Dearborn, Michigan, where the congresswoman is from. Watch this.
I already answered your question, Dana. I said it's horrific, and I think that rape is horrific, sexual assault is horrific. I think that it happens in war situations. However, I think we have to be balanced about bringing in the outrages against Palestinians.
And
children.
it's horrible, but you don't see Israeli soldiers raping.
Well, Dana, I
Palestinian
think
women.
we're not. I don't want this to be the hierarchy of oppressions.
We are announcing that President Biden has lost the 2024 election.
25,000 Muslim voters are in Wisconsin. You won by 20,000 votes. We will change the vote. We will swing it.
I'm here to tell you, Mr. Biden, that on behalf of the Michigan Muslim community, we will not be voting for you.
There are over 25,000 Muslim voters in the state of Arizona, and I will work day and night to ensure that those voters abandon Biden.
Mark, very interesting. Michigan and Arizona, two of the most important swing states that decide elections, and often by under 20,000 votes. They're saying we will make sure that President Biden loses the 2024 election based on this issue, Mark.
Well, I don't think they're going to want to elect President Trump on this issue. So I hear their threats. I don't think they're realistic. They disagree with the administration's policy. You know, I brought my own chart here today, which, remember, that it shows that 80% support Israel, 20% don't, consistently. And if you ask most Americans who's responsible for the violence in Gaza, it's the Hamas that committed the attack. So yes, there is a split, but I think it's a smaller split than I think is shown in the media. And I think at the end of the day, the younger voters in particular who support Hamas over Israel, are they really going to want to bring the Republicans into office? And the swing voters here are solidly pro-Israel in every poll.
Karl, what about you? Is this a factor?
Well, I think he can turn it into a positive. Say, you know what, if you believe that Hamas's rape and pillage of women and the massacre of innocents and children is acceptable, I don't want your vote. And turn it into a positive. I think these are a small group of rabble-rousers. The one that troubles me is Congressman Jayapal from Washington State. She is the chair of the Progressive Caucus in the House Democrats. This is a woman who aspires to leadership and plays an important role inside the House Democratic Caucus. And for her to suggest that the rape of innocents by the Hamas terrorists is somehow counterbalanced by some unnamed act of the Israelis is ridiculous and insulting. So if I were the Biden High Command, I'd say, bring it on. Let's make this an issue. If you want to say you're not going to vote for us because we're condemning the murder of innocents and the rape of women, go ahead. Let's make it an issue.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for that clarification. And thank you both, Mark Penn and Karl Rove. Good to have you both here today.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.